Bengals move on to the business of getting ready for Baltimore. Mike Petraglia outside Paycor Stadium. Here on Monday, there was no practice, just the Bengals reporting for an early day of treatment and film review after Sunday's disappointing 30-27 loss to the Houston Texans, dropping them to 5-4 on the season. Bengals have to forget about that game. Several players saying the message from Zach Taylor here on Monday was, do not let Sunday's loss carry into your preparation on a very short week for the Ravens Thursday night at M&T Bank Stadium in Maryland. The Ravens, of course, they blew a game on Sunday at home to the Cleveland Browns. They led 31-17. They lost 33-31 to the Cleveland Browns. So the Ravens will be stinging coming into this game on Thursday night. Something that Zach Taylor made mention of, that both teams lost tough games at home in similar fashion on Sunday. So there is that in common. But the Ravens are in much better position in the AFC North as they are atop the division at 7-3, while the Bengals are 5-4. They desperately need this win to get back in the conversation of the divisional race, certainly with the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers a game ahead of them already in the division between them and Baltimore. So what about Thursday night? What do the Bengals need to do? Well, something that both coordinators, Brian Callahan and Lou Anarumo, said here on Monday was they've got to stick to the details a lot better. For the defense, it means tackling, wrapping up, and plastering on wide receivers coming out of the line of scrimmage and going downfield. That's one thing Lou Anarumo pointed to here on Monday. The Bengals just lost their receivers and allowed the receivers like Noah Brown to get open in zones where there was nobody around, not a Bengal to be seen, frankly, and it was C.J. Stroud throwing downfield often during Sunday's 30-27 Texans victory. That's got to change come Thursday night. Obviously, the quarterback's a little bit different than C.J. Stroud. I asked Lou Anarumo about this. Yes, Lamar Jackson can create out of the pocket, but if he sees running lanes, he's going to take off and run if they're gash plays, meaning if they're explosive plays of 15 to 20 yards. And that's the other thing that certainly Lou Anarumo pointed to. Bengals gave up 17 explosive plays of 20 yards or more. That can't happen if the Bengals have any chance in the world to win on the road in prime time on Thursday night. The Bengals have not won in their last 14 road primetime games dating back to 2013. So the Bengals would like to change a little bit of that history as well. Also, the Bengals have to do a better job of wrapping up. We saw what happened on the play to Noah Brown as that set up the game-winning field goal on Sunday afternoon. Both Nick Scott and Jermaine Pratt met at Noah Brown but couldn't bring him down, allowing Noah Brown to gain 12 to 13 extra yards, making that field goal, which just barely snuck in the right upright, something that Matt Amendola could convert. Maybe if they stop the Houston Texans 12 yards deeper, maybe Matt Amendola pushes that wide and that game goes to overtime. But if Christmas were candy and nuts, you know the expression, every day would be Christmas. So what about the offensive side of things? Bengals have to find a way to get into a better rhythm come Thursday night, and certainly that means not going 3 and out as often as they did on Sunday against the Houston Texans. The first drive was terrific. They moved down the field with some help from Will Anderson Jr. and a roughing the quarterback penalty on the first play of the game, but they did get the 32-yard touchdown pass to Trenton Irwin. After that, the offense went dormant. Why was that? Well, Zach Taylor owned up to it here on Monday, saying, I didn't put the team in an offensive rhythm early on, and that is my fault. We've got to do a better job of doing that coming into the game. Also, when asked about the run game, Zach Taylor essentially acknowledged, and Brian Callahan followed up on this, Bengals know they're a passing team first and a running team second. Maybe a very distant second, but that's just the way it's going to be, and the Bengals are going to take responsibility for that because they have a quarterback in Joe Burrow who's one of the smartest passers in the game. He had an uncharacteristic fourth quarter, of course, with 2 interceptions, including the one in the end zone that Brian Callahan said Joe Burrow simply didn't see the cornerback dropping off in coverage and didn't read him when he thought he had Trenton Irwin open in the end zone for what would have been Irwin's second touchdown catch of the day. What about the injury report? Well, there was no practice, but the NFL requires what would be called an estimated injury report, and there are 4 significant names on it. Trey Hendrickson with a knee injury, Sam Hubbard with an ankle injury, Andre Yosivas with a knee injury, and certainly that would lead one to believe the Bengals could be certainly hamstrung in the wide receiver part of the game on Thursday night. And obviously don't want to forget T. Higgins is also coming off a hamstring injury. When asked about those 4 players and their potential availability coming into Thursday night, all Zach Taylor would say is, we'll see. It's a tough week to make those type of judgments, but we'll play it day by day. Trey Hendrickson did get some good news, though, here on Monday as the MRI came back revealing only an hyperextended left knee. It occurred on the play right before the game-winning field goal on Sunday afternoon. So if Hendrickson has to miss one game, it'll be Miles Murphy, the first-round pick, stepping into the void, just like Cam Sample did on Sunday for Sam Hubbard. Could Sam Hubbard return? Again, we'll have to wait and see how Hubbard's ankle responds, but there is the possibility the Bengals will be without both Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson going into this critical Thursday night game in Baltimore. We'll have complete coverage all week long on clnscincy.com. Be sure to follow my YouTube page at youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. And as always, follow me on Twitter X @Trags, TRAGS. Outside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.